Over the last few weeks, Western Mass News has covered recent arrests relating to gang violence, including murder, drug dealing, and more. But the line between gangs willing to kill and the local groups of teens teetering on the edge isn't clear-cut. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo looked into the small cliques in Springfield and their capacity for danger.
What price would you pay to belong? Would you make new enemies to fit in with a new group? Would you spray paint a warning on the side of a wall in Springfield? Gang intel analyst Nicholas Cotto says this freshly painted one wasn't always this unremarkable.
3 big words: DA, the cops, and 03. That means ABC, the third letter of the alphabet is Crips.
Violent red markings, he fears, come from a potentially violent local gang.
The Fort Pleasant block. Now it's called the Fort Block. It was a threat to law enforcement and a threat to a rival gang in the community.
But it doesn't say when, it doesn't say where it's going to happen, it doesn't say how it's going to happen. It just says F, the DA, cops, and 03. How are we supposed to know when something's going to happen?
In 28 years doing this, every time they allow negative graffiti up, something bad will happen.
Cotto says local gangs like Fort Block start off small, then grow with every threat they can spray across the community.
And they rise up in rank. We have 15 to 20 different sets of posse gangs in Western Mass.
What is Fort Block?
I mean, if you want to see it from our standpoint, like a family.
This member of a local organization, who we're only identifying as G, says gang is the wrong word.
It's a whole bunch of people who learn to survive together and they just call themselves something.
G isn't a member of Fort Block, but his group knows them well. He too deciphered the now painted over graffiti.
The DA,
Yep.
the cops,
Yep.
and the Crips.
Nah, that's not Crips. I'll tell you that right now.
G says 03 is just another small local group, also maintaining it's not a gang. But it is a series of friendships, he says, starts young.
There's like 13-year-olds, I've seen 12-year-olds, I've seen 9-year-olds.
Those friendships often land right on Cotto's radar.
So between the school hours, if I have a young kid out there, and I see you again, not going to school hours. Then I see you again. I define your clothes that you have on. I define your haircut. So you're 13, 14 years old, you're not going to school. So if you get a haircut every week, your clothes average $200 to $500, and you're not working, that's a negative foot traffic.
So when that graffiti goes up for the world to see, are these small local groups sticking up for their members or threatening those on the outside?
And they have to protect themselves with a weapon. And that's when things happen out in the community.
Like, people see it as, oh, we're just crazy monsters who want to go kill everybody and shoot. Nah, bro. I put any person in a predicament where they've seen their mom or father or nephew or best friend get shot right in front of them. It's like, a normal person, I don't care who you are, the first thing maybe a thought is revenge, bro.
And despite the codes scrawled out for all to see, G insists that revenge shouldn't spill outside of the feud.
Nobody of any other groups is like instill fear in regular people.
Sprayed on talk, turning into real violent action. Cotto is convinced that could happen from any small clique wanting to make a name for themselves.
We're dealing with unorganized gangs in New England. I call them copycats. They're copycats, but again, I don't care if you kill yourself the SpongeBob gang, they're still doing the same exact violent crime.
Real gangs do a lot crazier wild than any one of us do, bro, and I've seen real gangs up close.
For G and his kind of group, belonging is just how they get by.
I don't consider none of these gangs. I see people looking out for each other since they were little. You know what I mean? There's no code, there's no rules, it's just, hey, I got your back, you got my back.
In Springfield, Audrey Russo, Western Mass News.